Hey guys, Crunky here. Real quick before we get into the episode, I have a little bit of an issue with my mic cracking at parts of this episode, so please disregard. I'm aware of it. It only happens a little bit at the beginning, and then I've got it under control. So thanks for putting up with it, and I'll have it fixed for next episode. Thanks, guys. Hey. Welcome to Go Lurk Yourself, a podcast about playing video games and streaming on the internet. My name is Crunky.
I'm Cherry Cake.
How you doing, Cherry?
I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yes.
We just did an intro and Cherry was not a fan of. I was going to say something really silly and she was like, no, don't do that. That's stupid.
Crunk made a reference to this situation that we're in at the moment, and as depressing as it is, or whatever, I don't want things to go, change so much. So I feel like doing this podcast, it needs to be what it is.
Well, okay, I hear what you're saying, and I agree that, we need escapism right now, and that's really what this episode's about. So I was going to do a one-off joke about to kind of add some levity to the situation, but I hear you, and I can understand where you're coming from, and there's probably some people out there who are like, Jesus, this is the last thing we need is more people talking about it. I'm getting enough of that on the news. So
yeah, I'm one of them.
I know you are. So what we're here to talk about today is some games that we've been playing, and we also wanted to go through kind of a list of in case you, for whatever reason, happen to have some extra time on your hands, maybe you're a captive audience and you're looking for some recommendations. We have a few of those that we'd like to share with you toward the end of the episode. So what have you been playing lately? Well, actually, I'm going to go first this time.
Yes, you are.
On Friday, in the video game world, we got hit with two pretty major releases. I don't know if you heard about GameStop trying in America and Game over in the UK trying to stay open for this because it was a huge retail day for them. Oh, but I'm talking about Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing. I think it's called New Horizons.
Yeah.
Released on the same. Released on the same day. And what was happening here was, in order to mitigate how many people congregated at the stores, the retail shops, they allowed people to come and pick up Doom Eternal a day early at our stores. Did you hear anything like that in the UK?
I can't say I did, but I wasn't paying attention too much to it.
Yeah, you haven't played either one of them yet, have you?
No.
Yeah, I think we talked the other day. You're intrigued by Doom, but you're going to wait for a price break, I think.
Yeah, you just said then, two AAA titles. I guess AAA. Yeah. Animal Crossing. I always want to say AC, and AC just reminds me of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
With two really big titles coming out on the same day, it's just, and obviously the situation we're in at the moment, things on the financial front are be a bit tight. So yeah. I don't want to get something that I am on the fence about. I have to be sure about it. And Doom is something that I've never played. I've never played a Doom, with the exception of Doom 3 on the Switch, and I played 2 hours. So that's my history of Doom gameplay. But I was watching, Babris King is one of my favourite streamers on Twitch, and he is a big Doom fan apparently, which I didn't really know. And after watching some of the gameplay, and watching a lot of the gameplay, it looks so much fun. I want it. Well,
spoiler alert, it is fun.
Yeah, I was enjoying watching it. I guess it would be triple that, just playing it as well.
I guess I have a hard time watching that and Overwatch because it's so fast that it could be difficult for me to watch sometimes. Not just because my old eyes can't keep up. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
But I ended up buying. I've got a little bit of a rant too. I ended up buying both games because who's going to be responsible with money? Not me.
Either that or you make too much.
No. It's I shouldn't have spent the money. I know that, but so. I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I love Nintendo. I've never been into Animal Crossing. I have some friends that that have been on the show and love Animal Crossing. I know our friend Levi Hurst, who was on. He's been waiting for this game for 6 years or whatever it's been since it's been on a home console, and they're eating it up. Well, I got caught up. I waited up Thursday night till midnight, and I was watching College of Celiac play it. And if you want an ambassador for the game, go to twitch.tv/College of Celiac. That's all that dude's going to be playing for the next foreseeable future. I don't even know how long, but
yeah, and memes.
Yeah, and then he's real good at the memes too. These kids and their memes, damn it, I don't get it. But I was like, well, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see what it's like, and that way I can just talk about it on the podcast if nothing else. But I really got it from my daughter. She's the one who wanted it. It really surprised me that she wanted it. But here's a fun fact. If you buy Animal Crossing on a Switch and you activate it, let's say digitally, that island is tied to that Switch. And anyone else who plays, even if they log into a different account, are on your island. So you can't have like my island that I play on when I log into Switch and then my daughter Molly's island. So when she came in, she had to put her house down on my island, and I had already started the whole game. I didn't know that. I should have done my research because I know.
How dare you, daughter, move into my island?
Exactly. What do you think you're doing here, Molly? Get out! No, it is what it is. Like I guess if you buy the physical copy from Talking to College and Levi, that it's tied to that cartridge, so you can only have one island per cartridge. But man, I really am not a fan of that. And if I would have known, I would have let Molly start it. That way, it's her island, and I would just go visit it and stuff. But that said, I'm completely hooked on that game.
Oh no!
I made this joke on my stream the other day, but all it took for me to get into Animal Crossing was a world-stopping situation that we're all living through right now, where I have nothing better to do. And that's not to knock it. To be more articulate about and less mean as a joke, because I really don't mind it. I don't mind the game. I didn't mind it before. It just wasn't for me, because every time I'd played, I'm like, I don't have enough time to sink into something like this. I'd rather be doing something a little bit more exciting, a little bit more interactive with other people, a little bit more fast paced, because it's none of those things. it's basically
Animal Crossing. What to expect?
Exactly. I always looked at it and wanted it to be more of like a sim type game where there was constantly something to do, and the game actively starts fighting against you as you're trying to accomplish things in the game. It starts slowing you down. And it says, well, hey, you've done all the work you can do today. Come back tomorrow. And I'm like, what is this, a mobile game?
This is like actual real time tomorrow as well, isn't it?
It is. It's based on I don't want to just tear down the game, but there are a couple things that are really weird. Since it's tied to your system clock, you can what they call time travel.
Yeah.
You log out. You're like, okay, Nintendo Switch, it's tomorrow now. When you log in, your village is like, hey, welcome back, and things are done. And so I'm doing some of those things too, just because. If I don't, what'll happen is I'll put it down and I won't play it for 3 days, and then I'll forget it exists when I move on.
So what happens when you put the time forward to accomplish things? Can you put the time back?
Yeah, I've not done a lot of jumping back and forth yet. I've just been setting my Switch forward because who cares? But I guess at some point I'm going to look into that, because right now there's seasonal events that can only happen after Nintendo does an update. So if I screw it up and I jump, let's say, for just hypothetical, let's say they do something for Christmas and I've moved my Switch past December 25th, and the patch comes out, I'll miss it because it's already January on my Switch.
Oh, okay.
So it's that's the way I understand it. It has some definite Nintendo, the mad scientists Nintendo are. They're like the Willy Wonkas of the world, of the video game world.
Yeah.
They're you're not quite sure what they were thinking on some of these things. But one of the things that really bothers me is you go and you cut down your trees and you build your stuff, and you can buy stuff at the store, and you could sell things that you've collected for the money to pay back your loan or your house. And then once you get your loan paid off, then you can expand your house. And I go to the store and it's we're sorry, the store's closed. It opens up at 8 a.m. See you at 8 a.m. Well, we were just talking before we started recording. I'm a night owl. Sometimes I'll get up at 4 a.m. I'm just up for the day. Well, this morning I checked on a couple work things, and then I had an hour to kill. I go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play some Animal Crossing. I have all this stuff that I couldn't sell last night. And I go there and, it's not quite 8 a.m. yet, so the store's not open. I'm like, Jesus. So save the game, go change the time, and then sell. And it's just silly stuff like that. And it has a lot of that inventory management. You have a finite amount of bag space. So when you're out collecting, you have to have empty bags or you'll fill up and have to go back to town. So you go back to town, and in this one they have the Breath of the Wild thing where you have shovels and pickaxes and things like that can break, and you have to rebuild them, recraft them.
All right.
Well, all my crap to build stuff is in my storage in my house because I needed to have empty bags to go. So I have to run back to my house, build up either a batch of them, or if I'm out, I have to go back and load up my inventory, go outside to the crafting table, craft the things. And it's not like Minecraft where you can just easily pop in and out. There's a loading screen to go in your house. You have to open up a menu. You have to talk to people, go through so it's got a lot of like, and I really sound like I'm shitting on it. I'm not. I'm enjoying it, and I'm fighting against these things to enjoy it more. So I can't recommend it if you don't already love it, or if you've tried it and didn't like it. This one, they have definitely eased some of the things about what made it annoying to me in the past, but it's still not like great. You would think a game full of hand-holdy text and they explain in infinitely number of lines how to do every little thing. They don't tell you that you can move your inventory around in your menu by holding A for a second.
All right.
Like before, I was like, how do I rearrange my inventory? How do I sort it? Just silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying it way more than I thought I would. In fact, Molly actually came down the other day and she's like, "Oh, you're playing Animal Crossing. I wanted to play it." I'm like, "No, here, you have it.
I thought you were going to turn around and say, "No, it's my turn with it now."
No, I told you this is my time.
You know what you need next is another Switch.
Oh, I know. That would be financially irresponsible for us right now. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying we're not going to do it. I'm just saying that when I do it will be irresponsible.
Yes, exactly.
So what about you? Have you been intrigued at all or been watching anybody play it at all?
Yeah, I watched our friend Nancy, NankHD, on Twitch play it. She's been looking forward to it as well. And a lot of her community have it as well. So I've seen... there's a lot of like help in the world that you're in as well. So you can have like your friends come over and visit your island. You can go and visit them. They can give you stuff. You can trade stuff with them. So it's quite nice. If like it looked a lot of, that's what appealed to me when I was watching it. It looked like a lot of fun when you have other people or have friends with you doing stuff with you. I think if I was to play it by myself, I would potentially get bored quite fast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I can understand. The friend stuff is really cool because like when you make an island, you randomly get like a starter villager who lives with you. Mine is a duck who does cardio, does a lot of workout, and he calls me Cardio. That's my my nickname. But and then. And my trees grow peaches on my island. So when I go to I went to college's town and his grew cherries. So I gave him a bunch of peaches, and peaches are more rare. So his shop buys them for a lot more. Yeah. So I'll go over there and he'll hand me a bunch of cherries. I'll hand him a bunch of peaches and vice versa. There's also something like a stock market called turnips that only on Sundays you can buy turnips, and the price varies every day. So you can buy a bunch of them and then check with your friends. Hey, what are your turnips going for? And it was last night. I bought a bunch of turnips for 60 bells is their currency, and I bought 10K worth of them. And then Frankie's vendor was buying them for 146 bells. So that's just raw profit. And it wouldn't be me talking about Animal Crossing if I didn't complain. Did you see the actual process in order to get on your friend's island?
You mean flying through the airport?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if just the getting it set up, college says, "Hey, I want to come visit my island." It's okay. From that point to the time I was on his island, 27 minutes.
What?
Because he has to go to his airport, and he has to go through this, agree to all this stuff, and tell you. And some of that wasn't just the process. It was him, okay, let me finish doing the gathering and manufacturing thing I have to do here. And I was like, okay. And then he goes and he has to say, hey, there's a bunch of menus. He goes and talks to the guy at the airport. Hey, I want my friends to come visit me. They're like, okay, well, make sure you say that you're going to be nice and not be rude and draw things everywhere and be abusive. Okay. And then they give you a code called the Dodo code because it's Dodo Airlines.
Yeah.
So then the Dodo gives them a code that college gives to me. I have to go in my Island to my airport and say, hey, I want to go visit a friend, and go through like 18 menus and read all this text. And they're like, okay, do you want to fly to a random person's house or a best friend? And I'm like, well, how do I add you as a best friend? Well, you have to fly there using a dodo code first, then you can become best friends. So it's like, it's not terrible. It's just like all this typical Nintendo malarkey that comes up.
Very long-winded.
Yeah, you know how friend codes and stuff, it's been around since like the Wii era. So again, I really sound like I'm coming down hard on it. I'm not. It's just it's funny how Nintendo-y the game is when it comes to online.
Yeah. And
you can voice chat with each other
on
your cell phone app.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Nintendo-y stuff, but
I totally forgot about that.
I'll say this: if you're curious, if you've watched it, and I'm talking to the audience here, if you're curious about Animal Crossing and you've seen bits of it, you're like, oh, that looks interesting. Watch a little bit more of it. Make sure you're okay with it, and I'd recommend it to people who need to kill some time, because that's where it's been surprising to me. Is like, right now I'm working remotely. I'm in my house, like by the state I'm in. They said, hey, only go to a place if you need to, and so I'm like, well, I guess I'll play Animal Crossing for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah. But, like, I get what you mean with like passing the time, because I was very reluctant back in the day when Stardew Valley came out. I watched it and I was like, nah, this isn't the kind of game that I want to play at all. And then over the Christmas period, I got it and must have spent like 4 days straight just playing on it. And
yeah, it kind of reminds me of that too. That gameplay loop you get into, and it's really addicting after a while.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I can definitely see the appeal if you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've been surprised, and I kind of got caught up with watching a bunch of friends play it too, and I think and I've seen and heard that from a lot of people too. So yeah, lukewarm recommendation from me. What about you, Trey? What have you been playing?
Well, a bunch of stuff, because we haven't really... When was the last time we did a podcast?
It's been about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we might be able to get a few more. We might have. We had a lot of scheduling with Cherry starting a new job and me doing a bunch of overtime and playing music gigs. We've had a lot of scheduling conflicts. I'm having to work later, and we have a 5-hour gap between us as far as time zones. So with us having extra time on our hands, maybe we'll get a few more out.
Maybe. Lately, I have been playing my Switch a hell of a lot. And the main game that I've been playing on it was 2 Point Hospital at the moment.
Oh, nice. I remember when that was out on PC. You played a lot of that then.
Yeah. It was initially released for... I think it was just on PC, and then it came to the rest of the gaming world. I think Switch was the last release. Question mark? Don't quote me on that.
The Switch release get all the extra stuff that came to PC later?
Do you know? I honestly don't know, because my sister asked me that, and I was like, I'll look into it, but I never did. I don't know. I want to say some of it has, because I'm now playing through it again on the Switch. Obviously, starting a new game.
Right.
But I'm at the point now where it's kind of section or divvied off to where you can play just the normal base game where you're on the island. And there is now other levels that are like snow levels, and I think like the winter one was a DLC, so that is on there as far as I can see. I didn't pay anything extra for that, so
yeah. Usually when they come out a year later on the consoles, they kind of get like a deluxe edition just for the regular price.
Yeah. So I'm guessing some, if not all of it, all the DLC will be on there. But
so I'm looking at Steam right now. There looks to be like 5 expansions on Steam.
Yes, there is a few. I know that much.
Off the Grid, Close Encounters, Pebberly Island, Retro Items Pack, and Bigfoot.
The Bigfoot one, I think, is the winter version, and I played Pebberly Island on PC, but I haven't got to that if that's on Switch yet. I haven't played the other 2 expansions actually. The Off the Grid and was it an Alien one?
A Close Encounters, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played those 2, so it'd be interesting to play that.
And then this one looks like it might just be cosmetic stuff called the Retro Items Pack.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah. But are you enjoying it again? Because I know you played it for quite a bit back when it released on PC.
we would, I think it was you guys. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday because we were playing Call of Duty Battle Royale, which we will come to as well.
So good.
Yeah, we were talking about watching stuff because with us being at home, we got obviously a lot of time, so watching things on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, Now TV, etc. And I was saying to Crunk and Dee that I'm the kind of person that I know what I want. I like to watch. I will watch things multiple times that I've seen a million times before. And I go through a phase of start watching the series again, get so far into the series, and then get bored of it. Go back to it 6 months later, start watching the series again, get so far into it, get bored. And I'll just continue that loop. But I don't mind that because that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I found that with this, with 2 Point Hospital, that I was really excited about it coming to Switch and playing it again. Obviously, having played it on the PC as well. And as much as I enjoyed it at the start and playing it from the beginning, I have gotten maybe, I want to say, a third of the way through, and I'm sort of losing interest now.
Oh no!
Yeah, but I think that I can't decide whether it's because I have played it before on the PC for like an extensive amount of time, or if it's because the basic gameplay of 2 Point Hospital is very similar to like each other when it comes to different levels. So the basic outlay is that you go into a hospital, you build a GP's office, build a reception, build a diagnostics, build surgeries, etc. Get staff, cure people. And that's just basically what you do on each level. The only difference being is that some levels introduce new illnesses and things you have to research in order to be able to cure these new illnesses. Some introduce outside factors like earthquakes and electrical storms, I think. So damaging equipment, etc. So I don't know if it's just that it gets a little bit repetitive from time to time when it comes to different levels, or if it's just because I've played it so much on PC.
I can see where you're coming from with that, because it reminds me of, it's probably not exactly the same, but it reminds me of do you remember in the old school and even the newer Roller Coaster Tycoon games where you'd have like this one specific thing, you have to get 500 guests and they have to be happy, but like starting apart from scratch was the first 2-3 hours is the same thing every time.
Yeah.
You gotta get a baseline, a little park with some rides, save some money. And then by the time you get to like the 7th one, you're like, oh my God, I just got my park done. Now I got to start all over again.
Yeah. The difference with Roller Coaster Tycoon, I would say, is that what kept me interested in that was researching the new rides. If you got to a different level and you've already researched a bunch, so you have a lot to choose from. You're like, I want to research into this specific area of ride, so I want to see what there is, like roller coasters or thrill rides, or where was there not a kids one, but like a
casual or
chill
something
ride,
like
a calm
that,
ride, something. Yeah. So that was what kept me going on that. With this, it doesn't work really the same, because while they introduce new things for you, you could, essentially just research everything in the first level if you really wanted to, get all the rides if you wanted. With this one, with 2 Point Hospital, it's just one new one new illness, I think, and just one new objective that you have to. There are 3 main objectives, but the new thing that you have to encounter within each level is just one. So as soon as you've done that, there's nothing really. Anything else that it allows you to do until you get to the next level. What happens is when you get to that level and you complete the level, you get 1 star, which is the minimum requirement. You can then go back to previous levels and research it. Not research it, but you can implement it into that level. But until you get to that point, you can't use it. That's kind
of a bummer.
Yeah. But so far, as much as I have played it, it's on the brink of keeping me entertained. I still do enjoy it. I'm still I might play it for a little bit because it's quite nice to just pick up and put down. The Switch is just designed for that anyway.
Isn't it funny how much the Switch has filled a niche that, if you would have asked people 2 years before it came out, Nintendo's going to make a small, not very powerful console that's mobile. And everyone's like, well, why? The 3DS is already a thing, but it's so good. It's exactly what the Wii U should have been. I thought the Wii U was trying to like mirror it because it was basically a dual screen system.
It's what the PSP should have been.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of using flipping UMDs. Well done, Sony.
So, 2 Point Hospital, big thumbs up for putting some hours away.
I would, yeah. If you like simulation games, definitely check it out because it's good for passing a few hours. Can I also, just on this subject of sim games, just quickly point out that I've had Cities Skylines on my wish list for the Switch for a very long time, because its RRP is like 35 quid here.
Okay.
So it's quite a lot. I already have it for the PC, but it's the point of having a mobile game. And it went on sale the other day for I think like £8. So it's it's quite a decent chunk. Do not get it because it is garbage on the Switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is
just,
so
like, performance-wise?
Poor quality, Crunk. If you ever, I will send you a screenshot of like the absolute utter trash, like graphics it's got on it.
There's some companies who don't know how to do a good port onto the Switch, and some companies are great, like Bethesda, the Wolfenstein games. How they got those games running on Switch, I'll never know. And is it a little blurry? Is it a little not as good looking as PC? Obviously, but like they're impressive ports. Like you played Doom 3 on there, right?
Yeah. Well, apparently I've heard good reports about Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
being looking quite good as well.
Oh, I don't. Is it on Switch too?
I thought it was. I want to say it is.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I bought it on PC, which is the game I'm going to talk about next.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just have a little quick check.
Yeah, I've seen Wolfenstein games come to Switch, and when they first announced those, I'm like, there's no way. It's going to be like Fortnite's graphics look pretty bad on there, and you know, Fortnite's very cartoony. At least I'm talking about the original Fortnite. I don't know. I've not played it on Switch since they did the update. I don't play a lot of Fortnite, to be honest.
Oh no, I might stand corrected.
Doom Eternal's not on Switch yet?
No. Well, someone in Twitch chat lied. Oh, that's a first.
What?
I know.
If we can't trust what someone says on the internet, I don't know what this world's coming to. I have a really good side story for that. So, Doom Eternal, a couple weeks ago, I knew I was going to order Doom Eternal, and I was our friend Gorby was building a new PC, and I had an extra water cooler for a CPU cooler that I ended up not using, and I had forgot to send it back in. I figured, well, I'll put it in my wife's computer or something like that. And then it just sat for like a month. And he's like, I'm looking at water coolers. What do you guys think of this one? And he linked the one that I had. I go, actually, I have one. I'll sell it to you for like half off because I can't return it and I'm not going to use it. And he's like, all right, cool. And I threw it in the mail and he goes, so do I just PayPal you? I go, I'll tell you what, just gift me Doom Eternal on PC.
Nice.
He's like, okay. So I'm sitting there the week of and I'm starting to geek out, getting really excited about it coming out. And somebody posted on Twitter. I had tweeted to id and Bethesda that, hey, while everyone's stuck at home, why don't you guys be awesome and release the game early so I could play it on Tuesday and not have to wait till Friday, right?
Yeah.
And somebody on Twitter replied to me, actually, if you buy the deluxe version, you get it 48 hours early.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, awesome. So I went, and there's no upgrade way to do it through Steam. I can't upgrade the gift copy. I can't refund it without getting Gorby involved. So I call Gorby up, and I'm like, hey, man, I need your help. And he's like, what? I go, I'm gonna mark this so you can refund it, and then I'm gonna PayPal you an extra $20, and then you gift me the deluxe edition. And he goes, why are you doing that? I go, so I can get it out 48 hours early. And he's like, okay. So we spend like a half an hour going through figuring out how to do it all. And then he goes, where are you seeing this? Because he was going to do the same thing. He's going to get it for himself.
Yeah.
He goes, where are you seeing this that you can get it 48 hours early? I'm like, a very reputable source, some dude on Twitter. It was total bullshit. It wasn't correct.
No.
So we had to undo the refund request and go through all the.
Oh wow.
It was pretty awesome. But speaking of Doom Eternal, if you're ready to talk about that, I'll share my thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't want to be hyperbolic, but like I'm in that, when you get a new game and you're like, I don't know. And it's very rare for me these days that I love a game immediately or not immediately, but I'm in that like honeymoon period where I'm probably halfway through the game. I love it. I look forward to playing it. Like I shut out all the lights, I put my headphones on, get me a beer, and I sit, light a candle, put some pedals on the floor. What'd you say?
I think you're gonna make love to
it. No, I'm not. But I mean, if I could, maybe. But,
wow.
It's that good though. It is super. Like I'll tell you what it is. When it first came out, when I first played it, I played Doom 2016 again recently. Like I finished it. I finished the whole game and went back and 100%ed it recently, and I love that game. It's great. Doom Eternal is not Doom 2016 Part 2. It's not like an just extra levels and more of the same. They really have like rewired how the game is to be played, how the AI works, how the structure of the levels are. There's a lot more like platforming elements in this one. You can like double jump and dash and swing from these like bars that stick out. And there's a lot of areas where you have to like pull your, do some like combo jumping and dash maneuvers in order to get secrets or just to go forward. Doom Guy can now, or the Doom Slayer as he's called, can now jump on like certain ledges like Lara Croft.
Oh, well done.
I know, I corrected myself that time. He can jump on ledges and like, between that and the ledge jumping and the extra mobility he has, it's really, really good. They added a Doom 2016. You could chainsaw people to get ammo, and you could glory kill them to get health. They added a flamethrower to his shoulder, so now he can light enemies on fire. And the whole time, anytime enemy who's on fire is shot, he like a loot pinata drops armor. So there's this like ballet of mayhem that you're fighting these enemies, and if you don't actively like set people on fire, get loot, and get health, you will die. The game is brutally difficult, and the only way to get through some of these areas with a lot of enemies is to like master the know when to run, know when to stay and fight, know how to get up in their face and get their armor out of them, and punch them to get the health. And it's super, super good. It's like the meat and potatoes of the game is in the combat and the play style. And I was watching, our friend Chichin. I was watching him play it the other day, and he played this. What was that really weird looter shooter? Not Destiny, but it's been on PC forever, where it was a third person shooter like that. He played the absolute piss out of it. So he has some like mad platforming skills. And I was watching him whip through these levels, and I'm like, holy, he's one of those like PC gamer or like video game guys that like he makes everything look super easy. So, but there's like an art to the movement and like not just learning what guns do what, but like learning how to maneuver when to like there's a robot spider, or there's a brain inside a robot spider suit called an Arachnotron. That was from Doom 2, and he has like a big turret on his back. And if that turret just sits there, he'll get it ranged and he will fuck your world up from about 30 to 50 meters away. But if you have your sniper rifle, you can pull out a sniper rifle and one shot that turret off his back before you fight him, and it makes him way different of a fight. And almost all of the different demons that you fight in that game have little nuances like that, little tricks you can learn, like the Mancubus is the big fat dude with giant guns for arms. You can use that same gun. You can blast his guns off, and then he can't shoot you from range. He can only get you up close.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that part, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you could tell a lot of care went into it. The other thing that, like, I was telling Gorby this the other day, I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy this game for the first 2 hours because I stopped wanting it to be Doom 2016 and started, like, judging it for what it was, for what it's making it unique. And that's when I was like, oh, it clicked with me. This is why this game is better, is good. And the soundtrack's amazing. It is the most stable launch title on PC that I've seen in years. Like, it just runs really, really well. And it's a highly adaptive engine that I guess they call it Doom Tech 7. I watched a whole Digital Foundry video on it this morning where these guys that like study game engines for a living, they were basically drooling all over it and said it's the game of the year. And right now it's way too early. But right now, I would say it's my favorite game I played this year.
Yeah, I think it's probably got a very good chance of being Game of the Year.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be in contention.
Yeah, it just looks so fluid. I was watching Bard play, and just some of the combat that he was doing, it looked so satisfying for a start, and then just so like really well put together.
Absolutely. The levels are long too. I was early on. I wasn't even trying to get all 100% of the items, but once I decided, you know what, I'm just going to get them all now. I probably spent 4 hours on one level yesterday. I mean, that's one level in the game.
Wow.
It reminds me of, and I didn't play a whole lot of Doom 2, but it reminds me of some of the basics of Doom 2, which was very much have to find the key cards of how to get through certain doors. So like you'll go through the level and you'll find a door that's color coded blue. You got to find the blue key card or whatever to pass it. And the level that I'm thinking of is called something Giant Hive or something like. Basically, it's you're on Earth after the events of Doom 2016, and Earth has been overrun. Like they said, 60% of it's covered with demons, and they're turning it into hell. And you're in like the epicenter where it all started, and it's just covered with demons everywhere. And there's these giant, like, grotesque. The game is very violent, very disgusting, and there's these like giant tentacles growing all over the buildings. And you have to find this hive, and you have to basically destroy a heart in the middle of the city, like a literal giant demon heart that's wrapped around a building.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
The soundtrack is so like in your face. Who was it? I think it was my cousin Mike who said that, like, you know, when a song, like when the actual music drops and kicks in and gets real heavy, he goes, somehow every song in Doom drops all the time. The way he described it was pretty funny. And like it's just the most metal game ever. Like I can't say enough good things about it. I love it. I'm right in the middle of it too, so like there'll probably be something, you know me, I'll always complain about a game if I find something to bitch about it, but I've not found its Achilles heel yet, or the thing that like it's almost perfect, but here's these little things, because I love 90% of what it does, but I'm playing it on the standard difficulty, and like I think I'll need to turn it up to like get the most out of it, because once you get the super shotgun that has the grappling hook on it, like all of a sudden 90% of the enemies are not a problem anymore.
Yeah, because you blaze your way through it.
There's a they call them runes that you can like put in your suit, and they have bonus effects. And one of them is whenever you aim down sights or hold down right click on your weapon, it slows time down while you're in the air. So like you're jumping in, you can look down sights, and everything slows down like Matrix style for a minute. And the right click or the aim down sights for the super shotgun is a grappling hook. So you run into an area, and whatever enemy's the biggest threat, you can right click on him, grapple hook him, and then as soon as you leave your feet, it slows everything down. So you can, like, on the way, you can like bam, 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 hit the enemies on the way to it. Nice.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Oh, it's awesome. I would highly recommend, if you're curious, if you're interested in it, if you like Doom 2016 and you're ready to give something new a try, or if you like shooters in general, it's probably the best shooter of the year. And before Doom Eternal came out, I was kind of like, they look to be focusing a little bit too much on story, and Doom 2016 was not about story at all. In fact, there's several jokes where, you know, they start to espouse exposition to him, and he just like grabs the screen and throws it across the room like, fuck this, just give me my guns. And so I was a little like cautiously optimistic about it, and with Resident Evil 3 coming out, I love Resident Evil 2, so I actually downloaded the demo for Resident Evil 3. I just not started it yet.
Ooh.
It's on PC too, by the way, if you want to download that demo and give it a try.
Nice.
But that's those are the two games I've been playing the most lately. You got any other games you've been playing you want to talk about other than 2 Point Hospital?
Well, I figured those were, barring Animal Crossing, I guess, to an extent, they were mainly single-player games that we just covered.
Yeah.
So, are there any multiplayer games that you would potentially recommend?
I don't know. Have we talked about Call of Duty
yet? We mentioned it earlier. We didn't actually talk about it.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, Cherry's probably played it more than me. How many games have you played of the the battle royale mode. What is it, Warzone?
Yes, yeah, the Battle Royale mode. Not a great deal. I think maybe, I don't know, like 6 to 10 matches, maybe something like that.
I probably played about 5.
Yeah, not a massive amount. But it's not bad. I was pleasantly surprised by it. Yeah,
I could tell that you the other day, Amanda, a real Amanda, who's been on the show a few times, talked me into trying it and like showed me the ropes, and because I played it one time like when I wasn't in the mood to play something like that, and it was like I don't know, and then Amanda's like, no, I'll talk you through it, and I know you and her and Dee played it the other day, and I know Dee was having a good time because I heard her just laughing and laughing and laughing the whole time. I was like, she's in there laughing her head off playing Call of Duty. They must be having a good old time.
Yeah, it's a definite experience. And the bonus is that this mode is free. So you don't have to spend any money at all. If you're just slightly interested in battle royales or just playing games with your friends, I'd definitely say give this a try. It's a nice change of pace to the regular Call of Duty game play style. Obviously, like the usual one is you are put into a small map with a team, and you have an objective to either. There's various ones like team deathmatch or domination or kill confirmed, things like that. But when you die, you respawn. It's just die, respawn, die, respawn. This one, it kind of works. Some of the elements are like a typical battle royale mode where you are in a team. This is teams of 3, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because I have so many friends.
Humble brag over here.
No, I'm not kidding. I do think sometimes battle royales do work better as a 4-team. But it's fine for what it is. So obviously, like you're in a team, you get put into a match. You can do this in single player mode, I believe, as well. You get put into this big, huge sprawling map, and it's a battle royale mode, so it's the last one standing. The nice difference that they have with this is that they have something called the Gulag, and basically what happens is if you die during the match, during the normal battle royale match. And you don't get revived, you go to this place called the Gulag, and you are put into a 1v1 against someone else, and whoever wins gets to respawn back into the match. So I thought that was quite a nice touch.
Yeah, for sure. That's they really put a lot of thought in this game, it appears to me.
Yeah, considering it's just like it's a free game mode that they've I don't know where this came from. I had no idea that this was going to be launched at all.
I remember when Call of Duty last year, the Modern Warfare launched, that they said they were going to have, at some point down the road, they were going to put a Battle Royale mode in. But I had, like you, I'd forgotten about it. I forgot that they said that. But I think, you remember, was it Black Ops 4 that put in the Blackout mode? That one seemed more of just like it was thrown together.
I definitely think that was a cash grab.
And this one, I don't mind like as much crap as I give Fortnite because I don't like the building mechanics of it. They tried new stuff, and they continue to try new stuff, and you gotta hand it to them. They're super successful, and they've captured an audience that I'm sure not all of them are 8 years old, but you know what I mean. But this battle royale, that sure they've taken like the loot box or the not loot box, but the little glowy treasure chest all around. But they've also kept some of the Call of Duty-ness of it with like the duty. She said duty. They've kept what makes Call of Duty central to it, and they've also done things like you can buy in your friends again if you get enough money. And like I think Dee and Cherry and I played 2 or 3 rounds yesterday. We tried. There's another mode where you have to, instead of it lets you respawn, you just have to get as much cash as more than the other teams. And even it was fun. Like I had a good time. You're talking to a guy who I put in 2,000 hours in PUBG, and this game, I remember when this mode came out, and I didn't play it for a couple of weeks when it launched. The PUBG subreddit was like a freaking graveyard. Everyone was like, "Well, it's all over. It's been a good run, everybody." And I'm like, "Really? Is it that good?" And I tried it, and I've also been playing that Hunt Showdown, which is a whole other bag of worms. I think we've talked about it on here before, but it's kind of a mini battle royale. I like a lot of aspects of it, but they kind of broke it with the last patch. Hit registration sucks, but
Oh,
not
no.
Call of Duty. We had some good rounds. We had like what 8-10
Yeah.
kills in one of our rounds. It was great.
The weird thing about this one is that I feel like it's an actual fair fight for some unknown reason. I don't know if it's because I played quite a lot of COD, but I kept comparing it to the Black Ops 4 one that you were just talking about.
Yeah,
And I didn't like that version. I don't know what.
either.
I don't know what it was. I don't know whether it was the map that was too big, or there wasn't enough people in it, or it was too sparse on the actual map itself for loot. But there was just something about it that I just couldn't get into that one.
I didn't
But
like
this
the
one-
gunplay in it. But this one, you're right. The gunplay is amazing.
There's something really satisfying about it, but I can't quite put my finger on what. But I'm still enjoying it.
I think it's a combination. Just for after play, and I don't have hundreds of hours in it, so I may change my mind on this next week.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
I think the gunplay is satisfying, and we're used to Call of Duty. Like we know how Call of Duty feels, so you
Yeah.
don't worry about that as much. Like when I first started playing Hunt is a very deliberately slow. You have like Wild West revolvers and bolt action guns, and I'm like, this felt odd until I got used to it. So there was like a learning curve because it's Call of Duty and you're used to it. The only learning is like how the battle royale mode works, but you feel at home immediately when you're behind the keyboard, mouse, or controller, whatever you play on, right when you play Call of Duty, and I think that makes a huge difference. What I really love about the Call of Duty Warzone is that they are doing new and interesting things with the battle royale concept. You know, when's the last battle royale that tried something really new? It was that EA one from the guys who made Titanfall.
Oh,
Apex Legends, I think it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah.
yes.
They did some neat, interesting things in that game, but it also kind of had a shorter shelf life as far as like attention. Like I know there's
Yeah.
plenty of people still playing it, and they've carved out their own piece of the pie. But remember when it came out, it was huge because they were buying up a bunch of Twitch streamers, paying a bunch of money to make it big.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
when
Yeah, I
that
do
when that
remember.
dried up, everyone was like, "Okay, we're over this." But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm with you. I really enjoyed it. I hope we can play it later on today.
I was just quickly Googling this, and somewhere in the back of my mind was saying this, but Call of Duty actually has two different developers.
Yeah,
So
Treyarch and
Infinity Ward, yeah.
Infinity Ward.
So Infinity Ward do Modern Warfare, and Treyarch do Black Ops. So I'm just
Blops.
curious if, like, sorry,
Blops.
Blops, yes, Black Ops. I'm just wondering if that has anything potentially to do with like why I'm enjoying this more than the other Black Ops 4 Battle Royale.
Oh, it definitely could be. I mean, especially if you're like, we played Black Ops quite a bit too. The
Yeah,
multiplayer.
yeah. Well, Black Ops 3 was the first ever COD that I ever played, and that was back
Oh,
on.
really?
Yeah, the console version. I never played any of the other ones before that, so I don't have any like. Obviously, Modern Warfare being done by Infinity Ward, this is the first one that I've ever played by them. So it's quite interesting to see the difference in development.
Yeah, I think Modern Warfare was kind of the game changer for that series. In fact,
Yeah.
had you ever heard of Call of Duty before Modern Warfare came out? There used to be a really substandard, like generic World War II single player game with a little bit of multiplayer in it.
No, I don't think it ever really registered on my radar until like I started working with people that enjoyed playing Call of Duty and convinced me to get Black Ops 3 and
Okay, yeah.
play the multiplayer with that. So yeah, no, I don't really know much about their history.
So in 2004, I'm going to age myself a little bit. I was on my lunch break at work, and they had just put a Walmart in the town that I worked in, and I went to that Walmart to look at it because it was a brand new Walmart in town, and Walmarts weren't everywhere in my state at the time, and in the electronics department they had the Xbox 360 was for sale, and on the TV in there it was the first time I'd ever seen like an HD video game, 3D video game, and they had one of the Call of Duty. It was before it was before all of the current Modern Warfare. Before all that, it was like a World War II one. It was a guy driving a tank. It was the first time I saw HD video games. I was like,
Ooh.
"Whoa!" I was not interested in an Xbox 360 at all until I saw that.
Yeah.
And I bought I think it was a 360. Had to be later than 2004 because I think the 05 is when Xbox 360 came out. So it was probably 05 when that happened.
All right.
But anyway, That's my Call of Duty story. What game was it before Modern Warfare? Do you remember what it was called?
Honestly, no, but I can do a quick Google search if you bear with me.
There were a couple of games like SOCOM and Medal of Honor that were bigger, and Call of Duty was kind of the underdog, and now Call of Duty just destroyed everybody. It's the biggest.
Yeah, I do remember Medal of Honor because I think this is showing my age as well. Back when you used to get demo discs with magazines, there was I don't know if it was a playable one or it might have just been a trailer for Medal of Honor, but I do remember that one.
2 dead mediums, demo discs, and magazines.
I
know. Well, before we go, I think it would be if you guys are looking for some more recommendations for something to play. Let's say you're stuck at home and you want to get some games. What I would recommend everybody do is if you have hard drive space, go look through your old catalog. Maybe you have a Steam profile. Maybe you have some games on Xbox or PS4 or Switch that you don't have downloaded, and see if there's any single-player games that you might want to that you can play offline, just in case. This happened to me the other day. I have really good internet at home. Our internet went out for like 6 hours, and that was an eye-opener to me. That like, you know what? I want to have a rainy day fund in case I lose internet like this, because like I know where Cherry lives in England, they're downgrading. HD Netflix to save internet traffic, keep it operating for essential services, and not let it get overrun because there's a lot of people tapping in the internet right now.
Yep.
So, my recommendation would be go through and download any games that are offline that you might want to be able to play. God forbid if your internet were to go out for any length of time, that way you're not stuck. Right now, Good Old Games, which is at GOG.com, has 27 free games. No questions asked. You could go download. They're not cutting edge, brand new titles, but they have some older games that maybe you may have skipped that might be like me playing Animal Crossing. Now that your time management is different, you might have more time for something like they have Ultima 4, Quest of the Avatar on there, a couple Ultima games. They have a game called Postal 2, which is a hilariously violent and disturbing game, and a bunch of other stuff, but for free. I know Epic's Game Store right now is giving away, today is March 24th when we're recording this at 10 a.m. Eastern time. They're giving away Stanley Parable and Watch Dogs. Stanley Parable is a more of an artistic, like, exploration, one-of-a-kind game. I would highly recommend everyone give it a try, especially now that there's no cost to it. And Watch Dogs is a more of like a futuristic sci-fi Grand Theft Auto type game. Not for everybody, but the price is right now.
Yeah.
And you got any recommendations, Cherry? Games that you think people
most people probably know this one, but Tomb Raider is now at the moment it's free on Steam. So if you haven't played the first one of the reboot, I cannot recommend that game enough. It's one of my all-time favorite games. It's so good.
You got to replay it right now.
Yeah, maybe I will.
There's another game out that I would never have thought of, but maybe it's worth a look. It's called Temtem. Tem, 2 words. It's basically a Pokemon knockoff, for lack of a better way of phrasing it.
Pretty much.
And it appears to, have some time sync maybe. Red Dead 2, if you guys have not played Red Dead 2 on whatever console, that game is massive. Any of the Battle Royales, Sim City type games we were talking about, Roller Coaster Tycoon. And have you played Parkitect before, Cherry?
No, I haven't. That is on my wish list on Steam. But no, I haven't got it, but I would like it.
Parkitect is basically a modern version of the old Roller Coaster Tycoons, where they're really, like, if you played any of the Roller Coaster Tycoons or Coaster Universe stuff, they're all good games, but they do things a little different. They don't. But Parkitect, if you've played it, I played it probably about 20 hours. They definitely go out of their way to like really recapture what those games were like, as far as like almost to the point of where it's copying the formula itself. And
you also didn't cut that one off
no,
either.
it's cutting it off locally. You're just hearing it before it cuts you off. But the that cough snuck up on me. Sorry, I tried to do it quick. For everybody listening, I've got a bit of a cough. I don't think it's the coronavirus, but who knows? So we'll see. Nobody likes to talk about it, but it is what it is. Another game that you might look at. There's a series on Steam, and I think it's on some consoles called the Yakuza series. And I don't want to like give you any preconceived notions, but it basically is the Japanese mafia. It's a story about the Japanese mafia. If you start with the Yakuza 0, it's a newer version, but it's a prequel. So like if you want to know the whole story, you start out with Yakuza 0, and it's very Japanese in like its silliness and over the top violence and hilarity. That it's a different culture obviously there. So if you're looking for something, an escapism that's silly and different and like unlike anything you're expecting, if you don't know anything about the Yakuza series, definitely check that out. Obviously MMOs like Final Fantasy 14 and WoW, as long as you have internet, those are huge time sinks.
Yeah.
And one that I think Cherry would probably play again is Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I haven't finished it the first time. Still going through it twice.
Now's a good time to go back and get caught back up.
Yeah, but now that I have COD, I was doing this the other day. I was like, I want to play something, but I don't know what. And then I booted up my PS4 and I was like, COD's right there.
It's right there.
I'll just play COD for the next 3 hours. Yeah.
No, that's all right. There's nothing wrong with playing the game that you want to play. And one other game that I thought might be that I'm considering trying again is Sekiro. And I'm not saying that's for everybody's cup of tea, but I love Dark Souls series and FromSoft games, and this is a game made by them that it never clicked with me, and I don't know if I got frustrated because I didn't have the time to sink into it. There were all the attempts of dying over and over again to learn. So I thought, man, that might be a good one if you tried it and didn't click with you to go back to, but that or just play COD for hours upon hours upon hours, right?
All that, yeah. I mean, Sekiro might drive people over the edge.
True. You can just snap at your housemates when you play too much Sekiro.
Yeah, when you die for the millionth time.
Oh, man. We got any other recommendations?
I think we covered quite a lot. We don't know how long this is going to last, so who knows? But I think people have enough to go at. Yeah. For a little bit, at least.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming by and listening. Cherry, where can people reach you if they want to?
You guys can find me, the best place is on Twitter, which is at cherrycake518. You can occasionally see me on Twitch, and whenever I get back to it.
That's a lie, you know it.
I know, I'm so sorry. I have been meaning to get back to it. It's just, I don't know the end of that sentence, but if you do
quite a bit in your life, though, like as far as like, up until all this happened, but like working a lot more, and
yeah,
it's hard to find time for it all.
I don't have to work. Maybe you'll catch me.
There you go.
If you do want to find me, that is twitch.tv/cherrycake with 3 R's.
Yes, and obviously I'm at Crunky TTV on Twitter with 2 N's in Crunky, and I'm on Crunky on Twitch as well. I need to I'm going to stream tonight. I think maybe we can stream some Call of Duty. After I get this podcast updated and out there. But guys, I know it's a rough time, and you're here for a little bit of blow off some steam. But hit me up or hit us up if you need to talk to somebody, or get if things are looking rough. There's lots of help out there. I don't want to get too serious, but take care of yourselves, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.